In Dragons Rising, the Wolf Mask Shadow Dojo has primarily been seen as Ras's base of operations. I can expect, after seeing Dragon Rising Season 4 Part 2, that this location will be featured again in Season 5 of Dragons Rising, titled Dragon's Fury. So I figured it would be a good time to take a look back at this set. This is set 71813, Wolf Mask Shadow Dojo. Had 1,190 pieces, 8 minifigs, 3 of which were exclusive. We'll get into that later on. Retailed for $120 when it released in March of 2024. And adjusted for inflation, it's about $128.30 in today's money. We're going to take a look at this one and see if it's a good set or not. I didn't take a look back at this when it was first out because I was on a break from YouTube at that point. But now seems like a good time to take a look at it. So there's a lot of good play features here, and we'll get started with it right away. Starting at the very base of the Wolf Mask Shadow Dojo, it's built on some dark blue plates that could either represent water or just a dark blue soil. Unsure what it's representing here. I'm leaning more towards like the soil instead of water. And then as the temple gets built up, it's built with a tree and then a rock formation holding up both sides to it, which I think does look good in this case. It also primarily uses a lot of dark blue and magenta for its color schemes, an unconventional color combination for Ninjago, but a good looking one nonetheless, I think. And then as we go, we have the wolf head there holding the Gong of Shattering. We also have Ras's hammer there in the back, or the Mallet of Shattering, rather. And then we have the Blood Moon all the way up at the top, which is a printed piece that I believe was exclusive to this set. So we'll take a look at some of the play features here as we explore the Wolf Mask Dojo. We'll get this one out of the way quickly because it is the first thing, and it's the simplest build of everything here, I would say. This is just a little ballerina. You can put 2 of the figures on these clear studs, so we'll just take Lloyd and Cinder here, and then we can have them battle and try and eventually knock each other off, which was pretty easy for Lloyd in this case. But it is built up pretty nicely, and I think it's a decent little build and a nice inclusion. We don't get things like this too often in Ninjago, so it's always nice to have something like that. Starting on the right side of the temple when you're looking at it, it'd be the left side if you were standing in the temple. But anyway, starting at the side of the temple, we have this nice little tree built up with this chain that wraps around, and you can just use that to hold one of your minifigs captive. We'll just put Nia here for the time being, just to show that that's basically what that does. And all of the ninja do come with these hook accessories. Unfortunately, they're not dual molded or anything. They're just one simple piece, which I think is fine. But it's a nice inclusion nonetheless. Could have been a little bit better, but overall, not bad. And then, as we go around the side, we have these 2x2 round tan jumper tiles. And they kind of just lead up to, like, a parkour section that you have to get up to get into the actual dojo itself. And spinning this around from the back, there are more of those steps that we see. So the ninja would jump from here. I guess they would have to, like, jump around this and then up to get to the top there, which is pretty nice. It's a nice little inclusion. And then this thing also opens. We'll get to that later. But first, we'll take a look at the back of the Wolf Mask Dojo. There's not a whole lot going on. It's not a very deep build, unfortunately. It's a facade, which is pretty common with Ninjago sets, especially for large locations like this. It seems like the villains get the short end of the stick more than the heroes do. But overall, it's not bad, but it could definitely be better. This spear, I don't remember what this is in the show, if it was anything. It's been a while since I've watched Season 2 of Dragons Rising, which this is based on. Don't remember if that was anything super important or not. I don't believe it was. And then to the left, we have a little sword holder with a red mat. And then there are a few stickers on either side. We have a Wolf Mask Warrior on that side. And then on the other side, we have a little place to have tea with that nice molded cup and teapot. Again, another red mat, and then another sticker with another Wolf Mask Warrior on that side, too. Spinning this back down to the other side, we have a little target on the tree. None of the characters in the set include a bow and arrow piece, or even there's none included in the set at all. So it's a little strange that that's there and included. I don't know why that's there. Maybe it's just to get the printed piece out into the market for more accessibility. Who knows? But it is a little strange that it is there. Don't know what that's about. Moving back along at the other side, we have just a little weapons stash area. This is obviously stuck in place with that hinge piece that I don't like, that I've talked about many times on the channel. And then we have the wolf head, which does hold on to this rock, and then you can release that rock just by opening the jar and dropping it on to whoever may be entering the Wolf Mask Dojo. Maybe the ninja, maybe somebody else. The wolf head is built up very nicely in my opinion, and it also has these nice two flags that border it. They are stickers, and I think they look pretty good here in my opinion. I think they're nice details and definitely worthy of being there. If you don't like stickers, you can just leave them off. But I do think they look good and are, again, worthy of being included for this set. Moving to the top of the Wolf Mask Dojo, or the upper story that we were at before, there's just a little bit of play space. You can post some figures around. There's also these large red lanterns, which I think look nice. And that does continue up to the next level, where there's some smaller red lanterns. And there is some of that magenta color that I mentioned was worked into the set, which gives it a unique color combination. Again, we don't see very often in Ninjago. I think it's a nice color combination. I really like the way this roof is built up as well. It uses some of these Nexo Knights tile pieces and just stacks them on top of each other to give it just a nice look, in my opinion. It also uses some of these large curved bricks, which I think look really good. And there is one more play feature up here that we have to talk about before we can move on to anything else. This little lever down here, this tree, so we'll grab a minifig, we'll do Kai. We'll just stand him right there. Ooh, well, he's just gonna lay down. But if you pull this tree, he's supposed to fall through. He's supposed to fall through onto the bottom. It's a nice little play feature. It doesn't work the greatest with the figures that have the bulkier armor and things like that, but it's nice. It's a nice inclusion nonetheless. And the other thing I mentioned we would take a look at is that if we move, we'll just raise this flag out of the way. There is a little hidden thing down here. It's just another one of those dual molded sword pieces that Cinder is equipped with. We'll see that when we get to the minifigs. And it's just some structural stuff just to keep the build sturdy and stable, easy to move around, things like that. Which I think is nice, and also a good way to get another one of those pieces that look really, really cool. And one more semi-important play feature of this set is that with these hook pieces, they have these large, like, flexible tube rod pieces, and you can just clip the ninja on like that, and then they'll kind of slide down. Doesn't work the greatest all the time, but it's a nice play feature and a nice gimmick nonetheless. The first 4 minifigs we're going to take a look at are the ninja in the climber suits, and 3 of them are exclusive. All of them, except for Kai, are exclusive to this set. And I think that's perfectly fine that there is exclusive figures in a big $120 set. I believe some of these may have come in a foil pack. I think actually all 3 of them did. But that's not that big of a deal. They're a Euro exclusive. They're harder to get in America. I think the exclusivity argument here is really strange. The way the foil packs are released and what they are is just a weird concept from LEGO in general. But anyway, taking a look at these figures, before I spin them around, I'm going to remove their grapple pieces. Now, spinning them around, they do have really nice dual molded armor, and I think that armor piece is incredible. They do use the same hoods that they did from Dragon's Rising Season 1, which I think is perfectly fine. Their torso print, they all have little bits of ropes and stuff, because they are, again, these are their climber suits, which I think is perfectly acceptable to have ropes and stuff. And you can see their arm color matches their armor color. So Kai has dark red as his armor color and his arm color. Lloyd has dark green, Nia has gunmetal gray, and Zane has light bluish gray. I think that works really nicely. The only thing I don't like about these figures is the weird colored belts. The yellow, especially for the 3 ninja on the left, is a little strange. Zane's with the light blue works perfectly fine for me. I don't have any issue with that. I think that works. But that weird mustard yellow color just doesn't look good for me, in my opinion. With all of their armor removed, we get a better look at the rest of their torso print. You can see what I mean. That weird yellow color continues up to the top. They also have that Source Dragon icon on their chest, which I think is a nice little detail. And their face prints are the ones that have the alternate face with the visor. Again, not my favorite face print, but it's a nice inclusion nonetheless. And all of them do have their little symbols hanging from like a strap on their back as well as continuation of the rope design going down. And I think that looks pretty good. I think these figures are nice. I do like the color combination for Lloyd using the bright green and dark green. I think that works. Kai using regular red and dark red as well is always going to look nice for me, in my opinion. I think Nia might be the worst figure here just because that yellow really clashes with the blue in a bad way, and I'm not a huge fan of it. The other 4 figures we get included in the set are 4 bad guy characters. We get Lord Ras, Cinder, Jordana, and a Wolf Mask Warrior. I think these figures look really good. The dark blue and the purple color combination looks really nice. A little bit of that medium or dark azure in there as well. It looks really good. It contrasts really nicely with the dark blue. The thing I don't like is Cinder's face print. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But we'll turn these characters around, get a look at them. There's no arm printing on Ras this time, unfortunately. But we'll take some of these accessories off and get a better look at their face prints and stuff. Here we get a better look at the figures without their accessories and stuff on. Cinder actually uses a trans black minifigure head, which is nice until you realize that the yellow that is on his face print is supposed to match the same yellow that is on Jordana's head. It doesn't match. They did not hit it with enough ink. They did not double stamp it, which they probably should have done. It just doesn't look the greatest. It faces a similar problem that Lady Iron Dragon faced from the Lego Ninjago movie, if you guys remember that figure. And same thing with the Wolf Mask Warrior. The yellow just isn't bright enough. It's not as noticeable there because there's so little of it, but it's definitely noticeable. Jordana and Cinder also use the same torso and legs, which is a little disappointing, but understandable, because they're just henchmen of Ras at this point. Not terrible overall, but not the greatest that the figures could be. I do like the alternate face for Cinder with like the smoke effect covering his mouth. The back prints look nice for these figures, and the head print on Ras looks really good as well. You get a look at his torso print, nothing super crazy there, but these figures do look nice, just Cinder is a little bit disappointing. And unfortunately, that issue would not be fixed for his next variation of his figure in the tournament battle arena. So, in conclusion, is this a good $120 set? Yes, I think so. Is this a good set in general? I would say it's close. The only thing that can make it better is maybe shrink the height of the build down and expand it at the depth to give it more playability at the back section of the build. But other than that, I don't really have too much more to say about it. It's a decent set. It's decent value for your money. It's pretty solid overall. The color scheme is nice. The parts included are nice. There's a lot of nice building techniques and stuff mixed in. I think this is a solid set, and if you like it, you should definitely consider buying it. Let me know what you guys think about this one in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if you're excited for Dragons Rising Season 5, titled Dragon's Fury. With that, thank you guys for watching. This is Jim Lady 304, signing off. Bye.